Most of us like to believe war is something that only happens somewhere else. We see it on the news, we read about it in history books, but we don't imagine it happening on our streets, in our neighborhoods, or outside our homes. But the truth is, history is full of nations that thought the same thing, right up until the day their world changed. If that ever happened here, in 2026 or beyond, the difference between being ready and being helpless could come down to one thing: the tools you have on hand. Today, we're counting down the 5 guns Americans would truly need if war, or anything close to it, came home. Not for collecting, not for show, but for survival, defense, and responsibility. Let's get into it. At number 5, the 12-gauge pump shotgun. If you only had one firearm when everything went sideways, this might be the one. It's versatile, simple, and brutally effective. Load it with buckshot, and it becomes one of the most reliable close-quarters defense weapons ever designed. Load it with slugs, and suddenly you've got the ability to take down deer or stop a threat past 75 yards. Switch to birdshot, and you've got dinner on the table in the form of rabbits, ducks, or squirrels. That kind of flexibility is what makes a pump shotgun irreplaceable when ammo supplies get unpredictable. And here's the thing: because it's a pump, it just works. Gas systems can fail, recoil-driven semi-autos can jam, but a pump keeps cycling as long as you do your part. Whether it's a Mossberg 500 or a Remington 870, you're holding a design that's been tested by police, military, and everyday hunters for generations. There's also the psychological factor. The sound of a pump shotgun chambering around is universal. It sends a clear message that you're ready, and sometimes that sound alone is enough to prevent a fight before it starts. In a world where every round matters, deterrence is priceless. At number 4, the AR-15. Few guns stir up more debate, but if you strip away the politics, the AR-15 is one of the smartest, most practical rifles an American can own if things got ugly. It's lightweight, accurate, and adaptable. Standard 30-round magazines give you plenty of firepower without being cumbersome. The 5.56 NATO round is controllable enough for beginners, but effective enough to trust your life to. And the AR's design makes it modular. You can swap uppers, change barrels, mount optics, or run suppressors depending on your needs. But maybe the biggest advantage is availability. In a crisis, being able to find parts and ammo matters more than anything. The AR-15 is everywhere. Millions of Americans own them, which means 5.56 ammo and compatible magazines are more likely to be available when other calibers dry up. If you need to trade, barter, or scavenge, odds are good that what you find will work with your AR. It's also familiar. If you've spent any time on a range, in the military, or even just training with friends, there's a high chance you already know how to run one. In wartime conditions, that kind of familiarity keeps you from fumbling when your life depends on it. The AR-15 might not have the raw stopping power of a bolt gun or the quiet stealth of a .22, but as a middle ground, adaptable rifle, nothing else comes close. At number 3, the semi-automatic pistol. When carrying a long gun is impractical or would draw the wrong kind of attention, a sidearm becomes your lifeline. Think about it. You're moving through crowded streets, driving a vehicle, or just stepping outside your door. You can't always sling a rifle over your shoulder, but a pistol, that's with you 24/7. It's fast, concealable, and ready the second you need it. The 9mm double-stack pistol is the standard for a reason. With capacities from 10 to 17 rounds, it gives you enough firepower to survive a close-range encounter. The recoil is manageable for almost anyone, and the ammo is one of the most widely available cartridges in the world. That means if shelves are bare, 9mm is still one of the most likely calibers you'll find. Brands like Glock, SIG Sauer, and Smith & Wesson have made their names on reliability. When the moment comes, you need a pistol that fires every time you pull the trigger. No questions, no surprises. But a pistol is more than just a weapon. It's peace of mind. It's knowing that even if your rifle is locked away, even if your shotgun is too far to reach, you're not unarmed. That confidence can change the way you move, the way you think, and the way you face danger. And in uncertain times, confidence is survival. At number 2, a gun that almost always gets overlooked, the .22 rifle. To some, it looks like a toy compared to bigger calibers, but in reality, it's one of the most important firearms you could own if things fell apart. The 22 is about efficiency. You can buy or stockpile hundreds of rounds for the cost of one box of center-fire rifle ammo. That means practice without guilt, hunting without waste, and options when bigger calibers are scarce. And because the recoil is virtually non-existent, anyone in the family can shoot it, kids, smaller adults, or people with less experience. That makes it the perfect teaching tool, and in wartime, it keeps everyone capable of contributing. When food supply lines break down, you'll need to hunt small game. Rabbits, squirrels, birds, these are animals a .22 handles perfectly. Using a .308 or a 12-gauge slug on them isn't just overkill, it's wasteful and loud. A 22 gets it done quietly and efficiently, and don't underestimate its defensive use. A 22 might not be the first choice in a firefight, but a well-placed shot still stops a threat. At close range with a trained hand, it's nothing to laugh at. More importantly, it conserves your more valuable calibers for when you really need them. Rifles like the Ruger 10-22 or a simple bolt-action 22 are reliable, easy to maintain, and will last a lifetime. It's not glamorous, but when survival is the goal, it's one of the smartest firearms you can own. And at number one, the heavyweight of the list, the bolt-action battle rifle chambered in .308 or 7.62 NATO. This is the gun that gives you reach, power, and authority when you need it most. In a world where threats can come from distance, a bolt-action .308 is your anchor. It's accurate, it hits hard, and it's dependable in ways semi-autos sometimes aren't. Bolt guns are simple machines, fewer moving parts, less to break, and easy to maintain in the field. Keep it clean, keep it oiled, and it will serve you for decades. The .308 cartridge has been trusted by militaries and hunters for generations. It flies flat enough to reach out past 600 yards with proper optics, and it carries enough energy to stop threats in body armor or drop big game like elk and deer. That makes it a dual-purpose tool, defense and food, both covered. This is the rifle that lets you control the space around you. It buys you distance, and distance buys you time. In defense, time is survival. In hunting, time means you can wait, observe, and make clean, ethical kills without wasting ammunition. Models like the Remington 700 or the Savage 110 have long histories of reliability. They're accurate, durable, and easy to find parts for. With one of these rifles, you've got the confidence of knowing that even when everything else fails, you've still got long-range precision on your side. Put all of this together, and you start to see the bigger picture. Each of these firearms covers a different role. The pump shotgun gives you unmatched versatility. The AR-15 serves as a modern defensive rifle with range and adaptability. The semi-auto pistol is your constant companion, always within reach. The 22 rifle is your quiet workhorse, conserving resources and keeping you fed. And the bolt-action .308 anchors the entire setup with long-range power and authority. They're not 5 random choices, they're a system. Each one covers the gaps the others leave behind, and together they give you balance, close quarters, mid-range, long-range, hunting, training, and defense all in one package. But here's the reality. Owning these guns doesn't make you ready. Readiness isn't in the purchase, it's in the practice. It's in knowing how to run them under stress, how to clean them, how to fix them if they fail. It's in taking the time to train your family so they're not just bystanders, but capable partners if things ever get truly hard. Preparedness isn't paranoia, it's responsibility. It's recognizing that peace is fragile, and if it ever breaks, you don't want to be the one left helpless. These 5 guns aren't about fantasy. They're about giving yourself options, confidence, and the ability to protect what matters most if war, or anything like it, ever comes to our shores in 2026. So now I'll turn it over to you. If you could only pick one of these firearms to keep in your safe, which would it be? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this breakdown gave you something to think about, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Because whether war comes or not, the time to prepare is always before the storm.